A new report has revealed that Joe Biden's HHS spent $22.6 billion in grants for migrants, covering cars, home loans, cash, housing, healthcare, and even money to start up businesses, all funded by American taxpayers. According to the report, the Office of Refugee Resettlement funded billions to nonprofit organizations acting as a, quote, giant magnet for illegal migrants, all while losing track of 32,000 migrant kids. More than $12 billion went to unaccompanied minors, even though reports exposed unvetted and abusive sponsors.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Welcome to the JG Carrell Show. Why am I playing this? Why am I showing you this? Because everything is connected. Everything is connected. We think that what's happening in Minnesota with the Somalians, and Ohio and Maine and Kansas City, Missouri, that's all that's in a bubble by itself. And then the 30 million people that we brought into America in the 4 years under Joe Biden, that's by itself. The financial hardships that we're having, that's by itself. The housing crisis, the unaffordable rent and mortgages, that's by itself. The societal, cultural norms have been destroyed, that's by itself. We're a secular nation, that's by itself. We have multiple gods that we follow. Well, that's by itself. The crime, the fraud, the instability, the social chaos, that's all by itself. No, they're not. They're all connected. They're all the same thing. We have one giant rotted, evil tree, and its fruits are rotted. It's all coming from one place, and that's the anti-American, hate America. America is a vile, vile place to exist in, and we have to remove it. We have to destroy it. That video was 38 seconds long. Let me show you. I need to add this one more time. Let's see if I can pull it up. I can't pull it up because I'm looking at it on my screen on the side there. I'm looking at 50, 60 of the blackest black people you've ever seen. Do I care what color, what level of black or level of white or whatever? No. This is important. They are all from the continent of Africa and the Middle East. They all have a IQ less than 75. They are all going to be on welfare. I'm looking at a picture of this beginning of the video that they're all single adult military-aged men. Right there. Look at that. This is just one quick snapshot in America during the 4 years under Biden. 4 years. Do you understand? When I talk to young agents and I tell them, when you have someone that's standing in front of you that is an illegal alien, that's on welfare, he's on social programs, they have committed heinous crimes or just drunk driving, stop looking at him as an individual and start multiplying times millions. What is standing before you, what is making you so pissed off is millions, tens of millions in our country. Tens of millions of those people. And I don't care how those people sound. I don't care. Those are not Americans. They'll never be Americans. Those people are frauding us to the tunes of tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars. Our government gave away hundreds of billions, if not $1 trillion plus in 4 years to illegal aliens. They're giving SBA loans. They're giving mortgages, complete rent paid for, EBT and SNAP cards with thousands of dollars in a balance, cash. They get cash cards on top of that. They get free health care, free medical. I just got a call from a very good friend of mine. Hardworking, professional dude, hard worker. He just got a bill. His son got hurt in a sport, and they were nervous, so they took him to the emergency room and they ran tests for about 4 hours. It cost $32,000. He's in the bargaining phase of paying the bill. Could you imagine getting a bill coming to your house at 32? You owe me $32,000. What? Do you understand why? Can America, can you please put on a piece of paper 2 + 2? It can only equal 4. So let me explain to you how we're being raped just on the healthcare level. The healthcare, the emergency rooms are the general practitioner doctor that we go, hey, my son gets sick, let's go to urgent care, let's call our doctor, we'll come in and see him or her, they'll give us some antibiotics and see if everything's okay. No, anything wrong with these people, they go to the emergency room. The government does not reimburse it. They can't pay, so they're holding the bag. So who do they go after? Well, they go after the working man and woman in America, and they bleed us dry. They crush us, all in order to feed, medicate, and house illegal, third world, mentally retarded people, peasants that are illiterate in their own language. They have no job skills, no anything, but they can steal the hell of our money. And our government allows it. Our government just doesn't allow it. They demand it. Both parties do this to us. Both parties are guilty as hell. We have Somalians just in Minnesota. We're not talking about Maine and Ohio and Kansas City and the other plethora of places that we brought in these bubble-headed third world savages into our country. And they have robbed us blind by tens of billions of dollars. And nobody will say it out loud. I'm going to show you. You get to a point where you almost like you just can't take it anymore. God. I'm going to show you an up-and-comer. Let me preface this with saying I don't even know who's an up-and-comer anymore, because this guy is Brandon Gill. He's from Texas. Highly intelligent. He does something that I struggle with, and that is removing my emotions from, and I did this when I was testifying in front of Congress. I forced myself to remove my emotion. I knew I was going to be attacked. I knew I was going to deal with subhuman intellectual mammals. And I knew I had to remove myself almost from pick my emotions and put it up on the ceiling, looking down and just say, just talk. And this guy, Brandon Gill, has an amazing way about him. And he's talking to a former prosecutor. You can't make this up. And he's talking about the Somalians and the fraud in Minneapolis. And listen to this exchange. And when you're listening to this exchange, I want you to think about, who is the enemy, the true enemy? Is it the mentally retarded Somalians with the very, very oddly shaped heads and missing teeth, and their eyeballs are on where their ears are, and they look freakish? Are they really the problem? Or is it the white liberals that have destroyed our country, that facilitate it by this new rising star, Brandon Gill, who I hope doesn't turn out to be like Trey Gowdy, Jim Jordan? I hope he turns into someone that does something.
Does large-scale Somali immigration make Minnesota stronger or weaker?
Certainly stronger.
Certainly stronger. Do you know what percentage of Somali-headed households in Minnesota are on food stamps?
No.
54%. Do you know what that number is for native Minnesota-headed households?
Well, to be clear, a majority of the...
It's 7%. There's a big difference between 54% and 7%, is there not?
Excuse me, sir, could I answer the question?
Let me move on. We've got a lot of questions here. What percentage of Somali-headed households in Minnesota are on Medicaid?
I don't know.
It's 73%. Do you know what that number is for Minnesota native households?
Again, you're using the phrase Minnesota native households, but the majority.
The number is 18%. That's quite an astounding difference. I think we would agree.
Can I answer the question, please?
Let me ask you one more, and then we can go on to that. What percentage of Somali-headed households are on welfare in general?
I don't know.
It's 81%. What about, let me just ask you, after 10 years of being in the United States, what percentage of Somali immigrant households continue to be on welfare?
I don't know.
The number is 78%. So even after 10 years, 78% of Somali immigrant households continue to be on welfare. Do you know what that number is for native Minnesota-headed households?
Again, you're using
non-Somali immigrant-headed households.
If I can just answer the question, when you're using the phrase native Minnesotans, the majority of Somali Minnesotans are as Minnesotan as any of us. They were born in the United States. It's only 8,000 of the 108,000 Somalis.
And nevertheless, the welfare usage is astoundingly different. Does large-scale...
Look at what he's saying. Well, they're as American as us. What the hell are you talking about, dude? Let me show you this guy's face.
Any of us, they were Minnesotan as any of us. They were born in the United States.
Okay, look at that guy's face. I always see a face like that. I think of what my father used to tell me. Father was a big, strong Secret Service agent, big, strong man. And he would say, look at that face, son. That's a face that needs to be punched. And what he's always saying to me, and then it's not we're going to go have violence. We're not going to do violence, JJ. We're going to, this man right here needs to get his face punched because he's never had his face punched. He's pathetic. It's hard sometimes to see this. After a decade, an immigrant group that came into Minneapolis, over 70 to 80% of them are still on welfare. Here is someone else I want to show you, Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley's become a national hero, and this gentleman that he's with right now, they exposed an amazing amount of fraud. And one of the fraud that they've been able to expose is the daycare center, the autistic healthcare fraud, and then a new fraud they just found is transportation companies. How many transportation companies in Minnesota do you think there are? Well, there's 1,200 Somali transportation centers. 1,200. So let's go and let's watch this one and see. It's amazing. Watch this. It's shocking.
And so what's the need, for example, for 1,200 transportation companies inside of Minnesota? What's the need for that many transportation?
Well, there isn't. There isn't. You're talking about getting a right. You already have services that are provided. You have Metro Mobility that offers free rides to seniors and low-income people. And so to have that many non-emergency medical transportation companies, it's not possible that they can transport that many people. I have been to many of these transportation companies, and I've been time stamping my photographs for a whole year at one facility in Minneapolis. And those vans in that parking lot have not moved 1 inch in an entire year. They're all still sitting there.
And so when you think about it, you have, with the transportation companies, you have the adult care centers. So are they working hand in hand together to then say, we're getting the services from them, the adult daycare centers, to then transport them to their appointments?
So my feeling is this transport.
Yes. The answer is yes. The answer is yes, sir. Nick. And they know it. They know that what's happening. They understand it. We're being frauded, and everyone knows it. I was talking to a guy from the IRS today, special agent in financial crimes, and I asked him, if I presented you with this, would you believe that the governor had no idea that $25 billion was missing from his coffers in 1 year? And he goes, no, nope, absolutely not. He would know. He would know. Watch this guy. Oh boy, it is unbelievable what they've been able to do. Watch this.
All right, guys. So we are here. We found it finally all day long. The Somali Education Resource Center, Suite 301 here at 299 East Granville Road in Dublin, Ohio. Now, the deal is that $14 million into this center here. This is a single office. And by the way, there's nothing inside it. We've already looked. It is very, very, very much dark, and it looks like there's maybe a couch inside. So not anything here. Very nice security system, which I found very strange. So I assume that they probably have now taken our video and everything of us standing out here. But there is nothing here. And again, where's the money? That's the real question. Where is the money? Because the organization is supposedly $42 million over the past few years in taxpayer funding, and we have no access and we have no idea where it is. So we're just trying to ask some questions here, and we have yet to find anything at all. So we're going to keep looking, guys, but this is what we found so far.
This is what we found so far. $42 million. Do you understand? $42 million into a room, one office. Are you telling me that inspector, somebody that has oversight, doesn't just walk up there, look at that? No one's answering. It's in the middle of business hours and no one's answered. It's an after-school training center for like high school and middle school or maybe adult education. $42 million and it's one room. Do we have a problem here? Do we have collusion? Do we have a conspiracy to defraud the government? And this is when it gets really bad. It's not just the stealing and theft, which is crippling our social services. But what really kills us is they begin to take over neighborhoods and communities. This is happening across America. I can name one community after another state, after another state. And they get into your city council, your school boards, your mayors, your congresswoman. They will be our senators soon. And I'm going to show you a guy right now. His name is Mohammed, of course. He has just got on the seat of the school board in Lewistown in Maine, I believe it is. As he got voted in, he has pending charges of stealing a firearm, providing a false address to run for this seat that he now has, lied about the address and why. The address that he gave was condemned and had been raided for drugs, and now he sits on the school board. And now he goes in front of the city council and he threatens them. If you don't stop harassing my people, you won't get our vote anymore. Watch this.
My name is Mohammed. I'm speaking today on behalf of the Somali community in Lewiston. Some of you sitting here today, we voted for you. We elected you to protect our community interests, not creating division or go after one elected member from our community. This narrative, if this narrative...
Okay. Listen to how he speaks. This is on the school board.
...periods, our community will be forced to re-examine our relationship or political relationship, including our relationship with the Democratic Party and who will be voting in the future.
Who he'll be voting for in the future. The Democrats. He just admitted it. Who's our constituents? The Democrats. That man's on the school board. That man, no way in hell, has an 8th grade education. He can't speak. The words are written out. Look, I can get by in Spanish, but if you listen to me speak Spanish, it's going to be bad. You're going to question my intellect. If you gave me a piece of paper and I wrote it and I practiced it, I would be pretty dang fluent in it for like 30-second speech. I remember those. I'll memorize those words. This man's sitting on the school board. Do you understand what I'm saying? But you say, well, that's just school board. Oh, no. That's just school board. What the hell are you talking about? That's a major, major influential position. You don't like that? Well, let me bring in this guy, Jamal Osman. He is an elected Minneapolis City Council vice president. Let's listen to what he has to say about the men of ICE having to call 911 and see if you're okay with this.
nimankii ICE ahaa waxay soo waceen 911 waxay dhaheen waa nala dilay ama I don't know saa ereyga u dhigo Soomaaliga laakiin adigu dhib baa naloo gaarsiisay
waxaan dareenay tareede dhaheen
ha may nolosheeda khatar ku jirta
waa lagu adkeeyay maanta si fiican
nolosheeda khatar ku jirta naga soo gaara ma garatay marka Minneapolis way qabatay click way ku damisay laakiin kuma daminay sababta aan ku sheegay Minneapolis booliiskeeda uu ka war helay arrintii waa loo soo gudbiyay arrinta marka sida lagu soo gudbiyay si waxay ahayd la dhahayo qof dawladeed ayaa dib gaaray marka booliiska dhan ay soo yaacaan meel bay joogaan.
I can't take any more. The police from the government called 911, said we're being in danger, we're being attacked. Click. Click. What do you mean click? They hung up. I have a guest coming in, but let me take 1 second, a moment, not a second, to tell you what it feels like to be in a situation where you need help. Not, hey, my car broke down, I kind of need help. That really sucks. I got a flat tire, I don't really know how to get with the new cars. That sucks. Having a bad day, wife and I are fighting, my son, my daughter's having trouble at school. That sucks. I understand it. So I'm not diminishing that. But I want you to take all of that angst and all of that fear and all of that anxiety, and I want you to spin it up like in a blender. And then I want you to pour more and more and more anxiety into that mix so that you have turmoil that is, it's almost like acid. It's eating at you. That's what it's like when you are frantically calling on the radio. I need help. I need backup. Knowing you're going to have to do things that you're going to get injured or killed, or you're going to injure or kill someone else. And then all of the minutia of the machine that begins to grind you down after you do what you have to do in the field. And you make that frantic call on your radio. Yeah, I'm at so-and-so cross street at this is the number. I need backup. And then a guy's fighting you. You're punching them or punching multiple people. You're backing off trying to get distance. I'm at this place, click. I'm at this place, click. Call dispatch, do you hear me? Dial tone. And you have these jackasses laughing about it. You have this piece of trash that's sitting on the city council. You don't think he has power? You don't think he has influence? This is real. We just had a Minneapolis law enforcement officer get run over and he shot and killed someone. Righteous shooting. Being demonized, called all kinds of vile names by the governor, by the congresswoman, by the city council, school board, the mayor. America, we're losing our nation. All eyes are on Minnesota right now. But I want you to force that tunnel vision and look at the rest of the country. Our rest of the country is feeling the same angst and pain. You just have not had the media descend on you yet. And maybe the biggest question that needs to be asked, and this is Andy Frisella, and he asked this question perfectly. Perfectly. We took sub-Saharan people with IQs that are less than 70, and they're running a billion-dollar fraud scheme. Do you think they did that on their own?
You arrested 92 Somalis. You arrested 92 random fucking people that have an IQ of fucking 60, bro. Okay? You're going to tell me that these Somalis who have an average IQ of 68 somehow came up with this fucking plan to defraud the government? That's interesting, because do you think they also came up with the plan to donate half of the money that they defraud the government out to Act Blue? Like they come up with that plan too?
Right. They didn't come up with that plan. No, they didn't. They don't have the intellect to come up with that plan. They don't have the ability to come up with that plan. Unbelievable. So what do they do? What do we do? Well, we have to take our country back. And what does that look like? Well, it looks like violence, unfortunately. My next guest is waiting on me. I'm going to bring him in just 1 second. I'm going to pull this up. Let me get my thing. I know many people are noticing I'm producing my own shows now. My own shows. So I'm going to bring Chris on the stage. Chris from sat123.com. Sorry, Chris, every time I bring you on, I get you catch me in a bad moment where I'm railing. I think the next time that I have you come on to talk about Sat123, I'm going to have a segment on rainbows and unicorns and soft snow floating down. I swear, every time I'm bringing you in, I'm thinking, dang, man, I'm bringing Chris in here when I'm hot, right? I need to calm down. Next time, I promise you, Chris from Sat123 and then unicorns are going to be floating around me. It's going to be nice. It's going to be calm. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm sorry to see you so worked up, but I understand why.
It's frustrating, is it? Listen, just so you know, like we're talking about Somalis because it's all in the news, but I'm listening to you and to my audience, if they're first tuning in, obviously you're not from America with your glorious accent that I'm sure all the women love, but which makes me nauseous, right? So even if you're like a 3 or a 4 good looking as a man, if you have that accent, you jump into the 8s and 9s somehow. So I'm jealous about that. But we love immigrants. We love people that come to our country that share our same values, our cultural norms, societal norms. And it's frustrating. So when I go from that and then I bring you on and it's just a reminder that we have a lot of amazing Americans that have naturalized. And we take pride in that. So I just wanted to put that out there. But you have a company that you represent, that you work for, sat123.com, and they are a sponsor, a great sponsor to my show. And everything I'm talking about before is intertwined to everything, and that's being prepared. You and I come on here, and unfortunately, we talk about man-made disasters. We talk about natural disasters. We talk about, unfortunately, school shootings. And it's not fun to talk about, but it's about being prepared. And that's the thing that I love and what I take away. I know other people may take away different things about your company, but the way I vision or go to your website and look and purchase things is out of a necessity to be prepared. Do you have a lot of people that are customers like me, or is it kind of like all over? But is there that hardcore consumer group like myself that is looking at your products from a need standpoint?
Yeah, no, there are. We have a lot of smart customers who understand that whilst things may be fine on any given day or any given week, you just don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And look, I've been coming on your show now for several years, and unfortunately, every week it goes from one unexpected disaster to another. And, it could be horrific shootings, it could be wildfires. And, we hope and pray these things never happen to us or to anyone else. But the reality is that they do happen. And the only thing that you can do, only God can make these things happen or not. But what we can do is we can be prepared, and give ourselves and our family and our friends the best chance of survival and getting through. Because most people do get through these things, but people who are prepared have a lot better survival rate for any kind of emergency. And with your vast experience in law enforcement, what the realities are out there, and they're the kind of bad guys that are out there, and they're armed to the teeth, some of them, and they're ready to do harm. To be prepared is really the only and the best preparation you can have. Your best chance of survival is to be prepared, and that's why I've always loved this business. We're selling products to make money, but what we're doing with those products is we're giving people life-saving opportunities so they can protect themselves and their families, mate.
Yep. And I have your website up, sat123.com. You can go to /JJ. And I love your products. Like I'm trying to navigate as I talk too, but you have, let's just take, I want to go to your sat phone area. So when you go to the sat store and you go and start looking at sat phones, you have all kinds of deals going on right now, like incredible deals. Sat phones, when you go and you look at, and you get on their website, you look at your sat phones. And what I love is I go in there and say like this, the Shield 500, the satellite, just for satellites and ballistic protection, you save $1,145, right? It's insane when I see what you're selling and I see the savings. And why is it that I can get a sat phone and my cost is $0 and it's $1,345 that I save? Why do I get that?
Well, we're making a calculated risk. We figure if we give you a free satellite phone and we give you, in this case, also a free Faraday bag or ballistic backpack to help protect your kids at school, if you stay with us for a couple of years, we'll get our money back. And you stay with us a bit longer, we'll make some more money. But to do that, we need to provide you value and service, because over the course of a year or 2 years, you might need to call us a bunch of times, and if we don't answer the phone and we don't do a good job, you're not going to continue your contract with us. So we're betting on ourselves and our reputation and what we know we can deliver. And yeah, we take a little hit at the beginning, but we have faith in our customers, and most of all, we have faith in the service that we are going to provide to you wherever you are, whenever you're in need. That's why we have our English-speaking U.S. customer service and sales team that is available 24/7, 365, because as you know, disasters don't happen, at midday on a Monday. They happen on Thanksgiving evening at 2 a.m. They happen on the worst possible times, Yeah. And so we know that we need to be ready at any time to support our customers, to be there for them. Should they need assistance? Should they need more equipment? We ship equipment out to people and get it to them as sometimes in the same day. When we have these bigger disasters and we've got whole companies and big warehouses and factories, that are out of commission, they need immediate communication, whether it's sat phones or satellite internet units, and we get them to them the same day. It might cost quite a lot, but it saves their business. And again, we've been doing this for over 20 years, and we're proud of the service we provide, and we're proud of the prices and the plans that we offer, mate.
No, it's great. I was just showing the Iridion. Did I pronounce that right? The Iridion. And I'm looking at, and I just showed it on there, savings, $1,395. And you get that free when you have a monthly subscription of $99.95. So like you and I spent probably that much on coffee within the first 5 days of the month, right? So I think this is why I love your product, is like you said, if I have a question, I will call and I'll get an English speaking person. Dude, that's unheard of today. That's unheard of. And then, but not only that, is one part what I love in your website, and I'm not going to go to it, but it's there, is you have a whole section, Chris, of how to. Like you give me a sat phone, you give me a Starlink, you give me a generator. It's going to take me forever to figure this out, right? No, you just go click on one of your website and click on the how to use it, and it walks you through it step by step. I thought it's amazing. And I think your company is spectacular. And I encourage my audience to go to sat123.com. And I'll give you the last word. Like, what if I told you, and I ask you this quite a bit, if I said, look, here's a budget. What would you go and purchase if you had none of these products and you wanted to begin to prepare for the worst, or just prepare to always have communication with your family and loved ones? What would you purchase first from your company?
Well, if my budget was limited, mate, and I know a lot of people, have limited budgets, I would say a sat phone, a small generator, and a ballistic backpack. A sat phone gives you communication anywhere on Earth, no matter what's going on. Your whole state is blacked out, no power, no cell service. Doesn't matter. Sat phone's going to work. That's going to get you there. Generator, even a small one for a few $100, that can recharge your sat, not only your sat phone, but any other kind of smaller devices, even a small mini fridge, stuff like that. Essentials, right?
Yes.
And look, if mayhem breaks loose, as it all too often does, a ballistic backpack, is a real viable shield that can protect you from incoming rounds. If God forbid you're in that situation. And I know you've been in that situation many times, and you would never go out to work without your ballistic protection. But sadly, our kids shouldn't go to school without it either these days, as we've talked about. But look, again, if things break down, as they have many times in the last 10 years, people start shooting, people start getting crazy, and whether or not you have a gun, you still need to be able to protect your body. That's why we developed the bulletproof backpack, with the Faraday shield in there, to give you a real fighting chance. So between that, a sat phone, a small generator, these things can really help you out of a lot of situations, help you survive a lot of bad things.
Well, I think, and you're right, it is about being prepared. And you ask the people in Minnesota where that crazed gunman shot those beautiful Christian Catholic kids that were in the kneelers in church in a Catholic school, where you think this will never happen, and killed them. My son goes to Catholic school. He kneels in those same type of kneelers praying to Jesus. I want him protected. So this is not an if, it's a when and how bad. And I hate to say that. It's not blackpilling. It's being intelligent about it. You don't go driving your car without your seatbelt on. You don't go drive your nice $50, $60, $70, $100,000 vehicle without insurance. This is all you're doing to me. This is what I believe. So go to sat123.com/JJ. Chris, I have the number up as 877-667-1230. It's 24/7, 365 days a year. Chris, thank you very much. I hope that blizzard comes back and swamps you down, my friend.
We're in the middle of it, mate. You'll be pleased to hear.
I am. I was driving to Kansas City, and it's rainy and cold and accidents all over. And I'm driving to come home and do my show. You know what I thought? I hope Chris is miserable too. I hope he's worse than me, his weather. Chris, thank you so much, mate. You have a great day. Thank you. We'll see you next week.
Always a pleasure, mate. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Chris from sat123.com, sat123.com/JJ. Chris is awesome. He's awesome. Those guys, you see those guys. Good. He's a good-looking guy. But when you throw his accent in, you can just imagine Chris going to a bar or meeting something, and everyone's there, and they're single, and here comes Chris, and he starts with his mate this and mate that, and you're like, damn, you're a wingman at best now, right? Chris is a great guy, great company. Sat123.com/JJ. Great company. Love, and I'm so happy that they are a sponsor for us. The title of my show, Who Do You Hate the Most? ? Karens. I can't stand Karens. I find them to be vile. Not just like, they're all right, I can deal with. No. They are horrible. They are destroying our country. If I had to pinpoint a group of people, isn't it interesting? People would say to me, wow, okay, what group of people are destroying America the most? And, most people go, he's going to talk about immigrants, and he's going to talk about this and illegals. And nope. White Karens, white women, mainly middle-aged, but they are now bleeding down into the 30s, but mainly middle-aged. And they're so narcissistic. They are so absolutely right about everything. and they are so stupid. And we are now living in a world that is run by women. How's that working out for us? It goes against God's natural order. I'm going to show you this video. It's 3 minutes long, but it is powerful because the woman that's going to give you her view on the white liberal women that are woke is powerful. And then toward the end of this 3-minute video, and it's worth all 3 minutes, I want you to listen to the percentages of women that are in our economy in positions that were once dominated by men, and why it's adversarial, not advantageous to our culture. Watch this.
But I am saying that feminization has caused one specific particular problem, and that is wokeness. Like a lot of people, I was baffled by the woke phenomenon. Why did everyone seemingly go crazy all at once in the summer of 2020? It was inexplicable. It seemed to be mass hysteria, genuinely. And the more I thought about what caused it, which is a very important question, because if we know what causes it, we know how to prevent it from happening in the future. I read an article that someone else wrote that put forward a really simple, elegant thesis, which is that wokeness is simply feminine patterns of behavior applied to institutions where women had not been very well represented until recently. Women tend to be more focused, consensus oriented. Men, when they're approaching a moral question, will ask, what are the facts? What are the rules? Whereas women will say, what are the relationships at play here? How can we make everybody happy? How can we reach an outcome that will satisfy all the parties? As opposed to the male perspective of how do we reach an outcome that is just and according to the rules. That sounded a lot like wokeness to me. And the sort of piece that made it all click into place for me was the coincidence of timing. It is the case, just we can all agree as a matter of fact, that a lot of institutions that went woke or were affected by wokeness became demographically female in the last 5 years. Law schools in America turned majority female in 2016, and they've gotten a little bit more female every year since then. I think now it stands at 55, 56%. The New York Times became majority female in its workforce in 2018, which is maybe why it was so susceptible to the fads of wokeness and the internal policing and the Slack revolts that took place internally over there. Medical schools are now majority female. The white collar workforce overall, employees in the United States with college degrees, a majority of them are women. And managers, management positions in the US workforce, 46% female, so almost majority female. So the fact that all of these institutions tipped over to being majority female around the same time that wokeness emerged seemed to me that couldn't possibly be a coincidence. And one of the most consistent psychological differences between men and women is women have a strong impulse of caring, right? Which is exactly, I mean, I'm not somebody who looks to evolutionary biology for the solutions to all human phenomena, but this particular one does seem glaringly Darwinian, right? That women see helpless things and they want to take care of them. That is definitely something that Darwin would find a pretty easy explanation for. But that's also something that wokeness can easily weaponize. It means that if you can frame your political issue as a way of caring for some helpless class, then you're golden, right?
Minorities are babies.
That's right. But that is precisely what's going on at a deeper level. And that's why it's been so effective. But I am saying that feminization has caused.
She's right. She's absolutely right. Everything she said, and I have gone and fact checked this before I put it on. She's absolutely correct. Majority women in the last 5 years. If you have watched my show at all, you know I don't believe in anything that's coincidental. There are no coincidences. There's none. Nothing is happenstance. Nothing is by itself. I left the United States Border Patrol. We had our own problems, but mainly majority 90+% male. We walked a different way. We talked differently. We made decisions differently. Then I went into a 90% female world. When I retired, I went completely opposite of what I did. And I went into education, grammar school and high school education. I was a director under the superintendent. I was very excited about this new challenge in a different space. But I instantly, and when I mean instantly, knew that I was no longer in Kansas. I knew that, or I knew I was no longer on the border. Let me give you an example. I came from a world of rollover accidents with bodies everywhere, shootings, agents getting in fights, lawsuits, protest, narco smuggling, human degradation. And my very first day, and I'm in my suit and tie, no gun belt, a week removed from retiring from the Border Patrol. And one of my secretaries is running around frantic outside, and I can see him. And it's like 5 or 6 women frantically running around and around and around. I'm like, oh, okay, something must be really bad going on. They don't want to come tell me. So I stick my head out and I say, is everything okay? And they go, we have a major, major problem. And I am in the same frame of rollovers, shootings. We have major problem, boss. That's what I was used to. So now I'm here looking at 5, 6, 7 women tell me we have a major problem. And I go right into my action mode. Okay, well, what is it? What do we got to do? Well, sir, we can't get the computer to submit this form, and it has to be there in the next 2 hours. I remember just taking a step back into my office and saying, your world has changed, dude. And when I tell you that I went from a world of what's the problem? Let's fix it. Let's move on. Let's go. We don't care about your feelings. Let's get it done, to a world of no decisions, talking about things that have nothing to do with education because it involved people's feelings, their beliefs, inclusion, equity, diversity. Every bull crap thing that I hate, I found myself immersed in it. And I was immersed in a world of women not making decisions. And it was maddening. So when I saw this video of this woman, and I've watched other videos of people like her discussing this exact same problem, I lived it. So when I see it happening in real time in our country, I absolutely know that this is the root cause. And I'm not a woman hater. I love my wife. I have 4 sisters, tons of nieces. I, of course, had a mom, grandmothers, love them all. But we all have a place. And when you look at what's happening to America right now, we are no longer in God's natural order. You don't have to believe in God. You can be a moron and be an atheist. But when you look at the natural order of life, there is not one person that can sit here and argue with me and win that we humans and our environment and everything about us is in alignment. We are no longer in alignment with God's natural order. And that's why we have chaos. That's why we have super masculine women. And now we have super feminine males. Women are not having babies. We are not in the replacement level. In America, we are dying. And these women are literally killing our country, these Karens. And I want to show you one Karen after another. And I'm going to show you one right now. They are insufferable. They are insufferable. Listen to this one. This is just one of thousands. Watch this and tell me if you're not repulsed.
My name is Kylie, and here are 5 words you use every day that have racist origins. Number 1, hip hip hooray. Although it might sound joyful, hip hip was an anti-Semitic chant used by mobs in Europe in the 1900s, especially during the hep hep riots in Germany. It has a much darker past than people realize. Number 2, moron. Moron was a term used to describe people with intellectual disabilities that was often used to justify forced sterilizations. It was very common among eugenicists. Number 3, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I am shocked by how many people do not know that the word tiger was originally this word. It was common in both the US and the UK, and it took decades for people to change it, even in schools. Number 4, powwow. It's not just a meeting, it's a sacred indigenous ceremony where people gather. Using the term to describe a business meeting can come across as disrespectful, even if you don't mean it to be. And number 5, Eskimo. This was a term given by outsiders to label indigenous people, and the term means eater of raw meat. Many indigenous Arctic people find it offensive and outdated. Words matter, and knowing the roots of these words help us to be more respectful and conscientious.
Oh, God, shut up. Dear God, just shut up. Just shut up. God, just shut up. I always think, who? I know she's not married. Can you imagine being married to her? I mean, could you imagine with her clipping and clapping with her fingers and her long fingernails and telling you, oh, dear God, God help me. I'd rather be in prison in Siberia. I really would. Freezing my ass off than to look at that and listen to that waking up and going, oh, I'm alive again. Damn it. Damn it. I'm going to go from one lunatic, Karen, and listen to this and be able to look at all the other Karens in these boxes. This is a Zoom call. It's a zoo call. You look at all the Karens. It's like being at the zoo. Dear God, watch this.
Ariel Fodor, affectionately known as Mrs. Frazzle, to her combined audience of over 1.5 million followers, is here to help gentle parent us through this election.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I am so honored to speak today. I am like shaking to just be among such incredible company. We are here because, as if you were here earlier, you've heard BIPOC women have tapped us in as white women to step up, listen, and get involved this election season. This is a really important time, and we all need to use our voices and influence for the greater good. No matter who you are all influencers in some way. So tonight, I'm going to share some do's and don'ts for getting involved in politics online and navigating the toxicity that comes with it. And spoiler alert, as much as the toxicity can come from the outside, it can come from us too. So first,
I can't take it. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to let you see another minute. I can't do it. I just can't do it. And watching all those clappy seals in their Zoom boxes. God, how many times did I do those Zoom meetings? My God, I'm having PTSD. And listening to people just ramble. Just ramble and not say anything. Never get anything done. Let's talk about you know what, sweetheart? Let's Ariel, Fodor, let's why don't you just tell me, just keep going on about your feelings? Because I care so deeply. And how toxic we are as white people and white women. No, you are. You're the white women are the problem. God almighty. Just shut up. We're so misaligned. You just have to be told by these people. Okay, it's not just middle-aged. This woman's what, in her 30s? That woman is in her 30s. This woman, she's in her 30s for sure. But let's go. I'm going to show you a young woman, a younger woman, I should say. Very attractive, but completely and utterly a moron. A moron. Let's listen to her talk about her blonde hair and her bluish green eyes, and she's a Muslim.
I think one of my favorite things that I've learned so far as I'm reading the Quran is that technically I'm a Muslim. I don't know why it makes me so happy. Like technically I'm a Muslim.
She's a Muslim. Sweetheart, you're not going to be wearing a halter top and a wife beater and a fishnet see-through. Ain't going to happen, sweetie. We may get to see those big, beautiful bluish green eyes. That's it. That's it, you Muslim.
Lowercase m, because I believe in God and I strive to be a good person. Like, how freaking cool is that?
I can't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I thought I would be able to get through this segment, the Karen segment. I really did. But I can't. They drive me insane. Like, you can almost deal with dumb men. Like, they're hard to deal with, I get. But dumb women like this Muslim, that Muslim, God, that Muslim, I'm going to show you a picture. You know how that saying, well, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Oh, yeah. This picture is worth 1,000 words. So let's look at this picture. Sorry. Tell me about this picture. There's Mandami, a Muslim from Uganda that wants to subjugate all of us, communist, and look at this pig behind him. Absolutely oblivious about what's coming. She's going to need a triple X burqa. She got a big fat head too. She's going to need a big, dirty scarf, rug, towel on her body, on her head. We don't have to look at those teeth, that painted on face. We'll just have to see those eyes of despair and misery and torturous. Is this not the greatest picture that captures everything wrong with white women in America? And I blame two groups of people. The Christian man has allowed our nation to be taken over. And one of the things we did is we allow the women to override us and make us do things that we would never, ever do. And the other group of people are white women. Absolutely. Absolutely. Show's almost over. It's going fast. I want you to go to patriotsmade.com, patriotsmade.com/JJ. Start going to buy products from companies made in America, for Americans, by Americans. Stop giving your money to the big box stores. Just stop. Go to patriotsmade.com/JJ, patriotsmade.com/JJ. Something happened in Minneapolis. I'm going to take the last minute to talk about this. An ICE officer shot and killed a woman that tried to run him over with his vehicle. And I want to take just a minute, and I want you to say prayers for this ICE agent, this ICE officer, because no one ever talks or questions or asks, how is that man doing? Whenever a law enforcement officer gets in a shooting and kills somebody or has a traumatic event, traumatic situation, no one asks, how is that man doing? He's being demonized by the governor, the mayor, the city council, the school board, and Congresswoman. He has everyone against him except the president, the best leadership I have seen ever in my entire career in law enforcement. President Trump, Vice President Vance, and DHS Secretary Noem all saying we back him. We got his back. But I want you to ask a question, a simple question. How is he today? He has to carry that burden. He has to replay it over and over and over in his mind. No matter how callous and hard we become, we all are human and we all question. So tonight, I want you to say a prayer for that man, because he was defending us. And men like him need to be championed, and that those men need to be thanked above all else.